Hi, this training session is to guide you on some of the fundamentals of building a form within HR Partner. Now, we have three form builders in the system. We have the application forms in recruitment, we have performance review forms in performance, and then we have the more general forms in our forms module. All three form builders work in exactly the same way. They have the same interface and the same options available to you. So the tips that I talk you through right now are applicable to all three areas of the system. What we are going to cover today relates mainly to these sections down here. These are the field types, the different types of things you can have in your forms. So I am going to start by talking you through what each of these field types is and where they might be used. So firstly, we have a text field. This should be used if you want your respondent to answer just one or two words in their form. The text area is for anything more than that. So if you're looking at an answer of more than 2 words, best practice will be to use a text area. We then have the paragraph field. Paragraphs is for you to use if you have some instruction potentially or some guidelines for your respondent. The number is if you need them to include a number in their answer. So for example, in an application form, you may ask for a contact telephone number, or in a new starter form, you may ask for a bank account number. The header will allow you to break your form up into some digestible chunks and just make your form that bit more user-friendly. A select will provide a drop-down list of answers, and you can turn on the ability to select more than one option from that drop-down list. Your checkbox group gives them multiple choices and they can select multiple answers. The radio group gives multiple options, but they will always be restricted to just one answer. You then have the file upload option if you require the respondent to upload some documentation. The date field will allow them to select a date from a calendar. And the star rating will allow them to score something out of a set amount of stars, and you determine how many stars are displayed. When you have decided what field types you want to use, if you click on them, they appear here in the left-hand side. So this is your form as you build it. As I hover over that field type, I can see a pencil icon. I click on the pencil icon and I have a label at the top. Now the label is the actual question. That is the text that my respondent sees when they open the form. So here I am going to write, what is your role? So there's my question. The name, however, is always automatically populated by the system, but it's really important information there, because this is the actual piece of information that will be displayed in a spreadsheet if I later decide to download or export my data to a CSV file. So the label will not appear in the CSV file, just the name. For that reason, our first top tip is to rename the name and make it as close to your label as possible so that you recognize what that refers to at a later date in the spreadsheet format. Okay. Once you've done this, you close your question and you'll see the question is populated here very nicely. Our next tips relate to select, checkbox group, and radio group. All three of these work in a very similar way because they all provide the respondent with multiple answers. If I click into select to use as an example, it's appeared on the left just like before, and I have the pencil icon just like before. So I can click onto the pencil And again, the label is what my respondent reads. So, which region are you based in? And my name, again, is automatically populated, but doesn't make much sense to me. So I need to rename it so that I understand what it refers to at a later date when I export my data. I have the option to allow multiple selections for my recipient. And then I have two columns. Very, very importantly, the left-hand column is like the label. So the left-hand column is what my respondent reads. So I am going to write in here some options. I need to add a new option here on the right. Now you'll see where I've added an option here, this side has ended up blank. That cannot happen. If you leave anything in the right-hand column blank, your form will not work. And this is because the right-hand column is like the name field. So the right-hand column is the raw data in the back end of the system. Okay, you have to have something populated in here. It has to be unique. So if I have option 1 here, in my next question, I can't have option 1 again because it will break the form, okay? So these options need to all be unique. But another great tip is, because this is like the name, these options are also the things that export to my spreadsheet. So again, just like with the label and the name, I'm going to make my right-hand column as close as possible to my left-hand column. So I'm going to, in this case, actually replicate it. So on my form that my respondent sees, they'll see the label, which region are you based in? And they'll see north, east, south, and west taken from this column. In my Excel spreadsheet, when I download my data, I'll see the header region, and I'll see either north, east, south, or west taken from this right-hand column. Okay? Some more tips about the right-hand column. You cannot use special characters in this because it is raw data, so that will break your form. You cannot use spaces, okay? And you can't make them too long. So if they do start to get lengthy, strip them back a little bit, abbreviate whatever is in this right-hand column because it needs to be quite concise. The next tips for you are never ever copy and paste from an external source. Best practice is really that you type directly into HR Partner. Copying from another document into HR Partner will corrupt your form and prevent it from working properly moving forwards. That's tip number 1. If you really, really have to copy and paste because it's a massive chunk of text, then you should first paste into a plain text editor like Notes or Notepad, and from there, copy and paste into HR Partner, because that plain text editor strips out all of the formatting and code from that text, all of the things that tend to break the HR Partner form, okay? Strips them out, and then you paste plain text into HR Partner. But as always, best practice, just type directly into your form instead. The next and last tip is that once the form is up and running, you should never, ever edit anything. Most importantly, the right-hand column and that name. If you edit those, you will completely break your form and lose all historic data. So if you do need to make changes to a form that's already in use, you will see when you head to Forms, Configure and Templates, you actually have a little copy icon. So what you can do is click on Copy. The system makes a copy. It appears directly beneath the form that you copied. Make your changes to your copy using the Edit form, and then go into your original form and make it inactive by selecting or deselecting the box here and then hit save. That means your original form remains within the system, your data remains within the system. However, they are essentially archived, if you will, and your new form with the correct amendments is there now, ready for people to use. We hope you found this session useful. If you have any other questions, please do email us at support@hrpartner.io. Thank you very much.